Prime Minister, launch a rapid Quang Trung campaign to rebuild homes for people affected by natural disasters.
President Trump announces closure of Venezuelan airspace.
Customs expand green lanes to support businesses.
Hello everyone, you are watching today's news on NTV channel. My name is Đăng. Let's get started. On the evening of November 29, at the Dalat Provincial People's Committee headquarters, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính led a meeting with ministries, central agencies and leaders of 4 provinces, Gia Lai, Đắk Lắk, Khánh Hòa and Lâm Đồng. The meeting was held both in person and online. Its main purpose was to discuss urgent solutions to deal with the recent storms and floods, help people stabilize their daily lives, and quickly restore production and business activities.
Sharing sympathy for the losses and hardships faced by frontline forces in disaster response and recovery, the Prime Minister commended and acknowledged the tireless efforts of local authorities, residents, and the armed forces in combating and overcoming the recent floods. The Prime Minister ordered the launch of a rapid and bold Quang Trung campaign to rebuild homes for families whose houses were swept away or completely destroyed, starting from December 1st, and to be fully completed no later than January 31st, 2026. Repairs to partially damaged houses must be finished before December 31st, 2025. He also instructed localities to stabilize the lives of families affected by flooding and inundation by December 10th, 2025. So far, the government has provided 2.41 trillion VND in support to the 4 hardest-hit provinces and will consider additional proposals, with the principle of agreeing where needed. According to the Ministry of Agriculture and Environment, the 6-day flooding event has caused nearly 16.2 trillion VND in damages, left 108 people dead or missing, destroyed almost 1,000 homes, and severely damaged nearly 3,400 others.
On November 29, U.S. President Donald Trump warned that airspace over and around Venezuela could be completely closed. This announcement marks the latest escalations in the ongoing standoff between the United States and the government of Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro.
In recent weeks, you've been working to deter
In a social media post on November 29th, President Donald Trump wrote, "To all airlines, pilots, drug traffickers, and human traffickers, consider the entire airspace over and around Venezuela completely closed." Last week, U.S. aviation authorities warned major airlines about a potentially hazardous situation when flying over Venezuela due to a deteriorating security environment and increased military activity in and around the country. Trump's warning comes as his administration ramps up pressure on Venezuela with a large-scale military deployment in the Caribbean. Washington maintains the operation aims to curb drug trafficking, while Caracas insists the true objective is regime change.
The Russian government has sent the State Duma a proposal asking for approval of military deployment agreement with India. The agreement could allow Russian troops, warships, and aircraft to be sent to India, and also allow Indian forces to be deployed to Russia.
These provisions apply to joint military exercises, humanitarian assistance, and disaster relief operations. The Russian government emphasizes that ratifying the agreement will strengthen military cooperation between the 2 countries. Procedures for notifying port calls by Russian and Indian naval vessels, as well as for using each other's airspace and airport infrastructure, will be streamlined. Indian Foreign Minister Subrahmanyam Jaishankar earlier noted that India and Russia are preparing several agreements and initiatives ahead of President Vladimir Putin's visit to the Republic of India on December 4-5. In October, the 2 countries held the joint Indra 2025 military exercise at the Mahajan training grounds in India, with the primary objective of enhancing coordination in counterterrorism operations.
Coming up next are some updated news.
Following an urgent safety alert from Airbus and an EASA directive requiring all A319, A320, and A321 aircraft to update their ELAC software by 6:59 a.m. on November 30th, Vietnam time. Domestic airlines acted swiftly to comply. Vietnam Airlines deployed technical teams at Noi Bai, Da Nang, and Tan Son Nhat airports for overnight updates on November 28th, 29. Operations on November 29th and from November 30th have continued normally, with no disruptions. Vietjet Air reported that only a limited number of A321 aircraft required the update. The airline said flight schedules would be adjusted only if any planes remain unupdated after the 6:59 a.m. deadline, with passengers informed promptly. Bamboo Airways confirmed that its A320, A321 fleet is unaffected and continues to operate normally. Thanks to the quick response, flights across Vietnam so far remain fully uninterrupted.
On the morning of November 30th, head coach Kim Sang-sik officially confirmed the 23-player roster for the Vietnam U22 men's football team for the 2025 Southeast Asian Games, SEA Games 33. Midfielder Quat Van Cong of the Cong Viettel was named team captain. According to the match schedule, the Golden Stars will kick off their quest for the SEA Games 33 gold medal against U22 Laos at 4 p.m. on December 3rd. In the men's football competition, Vietnam U22 is drawn in Group B alongside U22 Laos and U22 Malaysia.
The Ministry of Home Affairs has reported that non-profit overseas labor programs have sent about 155,000 Vietnamese workers abroad, generating approximately 17 trillion VND in foreign currency each year. These programs have made a significant contribution to sustainable poverty reduction and improving livelihoods in many localities. Under the Vietnam-South Korea cooperation, more than 10,000 workers have been deployed for seasonal agricultural work. However, the deputy minister cautioned that some workers have violated regulations or absconded, which could affect Vietnam's reputation abroad.
Increasing the proportion of green lane clearances while minimizing yellow and red lanes is now a key priority for the customs sectors as it works to shorten clearance times for businesses. Expanding the green lane not only speeds up procedures and reduces logistic costs, but also provides wider momentum for enterprises striving to recover from recent difficulties.
Green lanes are a priority customs clearance mechanism for businesses that maintain transparent records and comply fully with regulations. To support enterprises, customs authorities have strengthened risk management, digitized procedures, and ensured transparency at every step, significantly increasing the proportion of shipments cleared through green lanes. At Vinh Customs, nearly 83,000 declarations have been processed through green lanes as of November this year, accounting for over 65%, up from around 48,000 declarations, or 60% at the end of 2024. Customs applies risk management data analysis at all three stages: pre-clearance, during clearance, and post-clearance, minimizing direct human intervention so that businesses can fully comply with the law. Thanks to the green lane system, many businesses have saved 15 to 30% on logistics costs, especially in sectors requiring fast delivery, such as agricultural products, seafood, and textiles. This also helps improve logistics rankings and strengthens overall competitiveness. However, to maintain access, companies must standardize procedures, keep documentation transparent, and comply with the law. The green lane is very important because customers value fast and transparent customs clearance. Expanding green lanes is not just a technical measure. It's a strong commitment from the customs sector to support businesses. When procedures are streamlined and costs reduced, enterprises gain the capacity to grow, helping to accelerate the flow of goods and boost the competitiveness of the economy.
This is the end of the show today. Thank you for watching.